Hey there, it is Kevin Ward here. I just finished a 3-day event last week, and as always, I felt like the event was my best ever, and everything went awesome and everything went great. And then I got a couple of emails of people criticizing something that I did or something that I said or something about the event, and it always happens. And I'm one of those kind of guys that I like people and I want people to like me, and I'm always, I'm pretty attached to how people feel about me. And so when I get criticism, it stings, and I don't like it. And so criticism used to really get under my skin. I couldn't let it go. I would fret about it, and I'd be like, I want everybody to like me, and I want to be perfect. And so maybe I made a mistake, or maybe it was just they didn't like it. And so I'm like, oh no, maybe I did it wrong. And I start second guessing myself. And so I've really done some good, I think some important inner work on and coming to terms with how to handle criticism. And so people ask about it sometimes, and people don't like to get criticized. So they're like, how do you handle criticism? So I just want to talk about how I now handle criticism when it comes, because it comes, and sometimes it's, constructive criticism, and other times it is not. It's just attack. It's belligerent. It's you're a jerk type criticism. So here's kind of my 4 principles of how I approach and how I handle criticism. Number 1 is that critics criticize. That's what they do. That's the way they do it. So whenever you get negative feedback from someone, unless it's a coach or a mentor or a good friend, it is most likely simply a critic doing their thing. Critics criticize because that's what they do. That's what they're good at. See, the reason they're not doing what you're doing is because they're not good enough at it to get paid for it. So they criticize. And critics, to me, are experts who just aren't expert enough to get paid for what they do, which is criticize. And so understand that most criticism is simply a reflection of the critic, of who they are, not about you or about what you're doing. So that's my number 1 principle, is I had to just learn, no matter what you do, some people are just going to be critical because that's just who they are. They have to critique you. They have to try to improve you. My second principle of how I handle criticism is to care about people without being attached to whether or not they like everything about what I do. Used to, I was attached to that. I wanted their approval. I wanted everybody to like me, and I wanted to approve of me, and if they didn't, I felt bad. And I realized that kills you whenever you're attached to other people's approval. And so some people's approach is, well, then just don't care about what other people say. Don't care about what other people think. And just don't give a crap. Well, I didn't ever want it to be that way because I care. And I want to care. And I want to care about the people that I'm teaching or that I'm working with, that I'm training. I care about them, and I care about their results. I care about their life. And so when they criticize me, it would hurt. And so I realized, wait a second, I can care about them without taking it personally when they criticize. So it's that power of being able to it hurts a little bit, but don't put up the walls. Don't let your heart get hard. Care about people, that whenever they criticize you, okay, so it hurts a little bit. It's totally cool for it to hurt, because the hurt will heal really quickly if you can learn to care without being attached to their approval of you. I still care about them even if they don't approve of me, and I don't lose any sleep over it. And it's so powerful when you learn, I can care, I can stay vulnerable, I can stay real, I don't get my heart hard, and I can still survive with that. And it's totally powerful. The third principle to me for handling criticism is I want to learn from all feedback. Whenever somebody gives you positive feedback, I want to learn from that. When they give you negative feedback, I want to learn from that. So when they give us some criticism, instead of just dismissing and going like, well, it's just a critic, they're just criticizing, so I'm not going to think about it. Ask yourself, what is there truth to that? Is there something I need to be learning from that? So when people give you compliments, what's the lesson in the compliments? When they give you criticism, what's the lesson? What is there that I can learn, that I can do that makes me better? Don't let the little tiny negatives overwhelm all the positives, because every time you do something, you get a criticism. Well, 99% of the people loved it. 99% of the people thought it was awesome. It served them, it helped them, and 1% or 2% or 5% didn't like it. Don't let that small percentage weigh you down over all the good stuff, the good things you did, the good results that came out of it. And just ask, what can I learn? Learn from the feedback. And then the fourth thing I do in handling criticism, and this is whether there's criticism or not, is I want to kind of debrief after every presentation or training or talk that I give. So if you're doing something where you're presenting or you're doing a presentation or whatever it is, that I want to sit down after I do something like that, after I perform, after I do my work, and say, okay, how did that go? What were my wins? What did I do great? What could I have done better? So literally, it's the self-critique, the self-feedback, because when you sit down and ask yourself the question, you can be honest with yourself. And it's amazing when you do that and just take the time to do it and go like, okay, I need to face up. I really didn't prepare as well as I should have. Or I came across a little overbearing there. Or you know what, I said that and I promised myself I would never do that or say something like that in public, and I did it, and I'm not going to do that anymore. Just by debriefing, I can say, okay, what did I do right? What can I do better? And that self-correction becomes very, very powerful. In reality, we can be our own worst critic, right? But we can be our own best supporter and best critic when we give ourselves the right feedback, learn from it, and make it better. Criticism has value. Just learn how to read it, learn how to react to it, learn how to grow from it. If you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. Give the video a thumbs up. Share this with anybody that you think needs it. Play to win. Always expect yes. And remember, your responsibility is to be the best.